Washington Senators Bob Corker, Republican of Tennessee, and Mark Warner, Democrat of Virginia, participated on Wednesday in a Time Stocks conversation with the New York Times, moderated by Jennifer Steinhauer, the Times's editor of live journalism. Bill writers crave it. Lawmakers still tout its virtues. Voters insist they want it. And yet, by consensus, true meet-in-the-middle bipartisanship is on the outs in Washington. Even in the Senate, the clubbiest body in the Capitol, where stories still circulate of agreements hashed out over handshakes and cocktails, the art of the deal might best be described as closed for business. The political calculus now favors holding firm to the party line. Take the Affordable Care Act, President Barack Obama's signature domestic achievement. When Mr. Obama signed it into law in 2010, drastically reshaping the nation's health care systems, the legislation on his desk had not received a single Republican vote. And this year, when Republicans who are back in control of the Washington power levers trained their attention on repealing the law, they failed in part because they could not win a single Democratic vote in either the House or the Senate. The same pattern appears to be holding among Republicans in both chambers, who are rapidly steering a substantial overhaul to the nation's tax system toward passage without a Democrat in sight. But there have been exceptions, notably, President Trump's agreement with Democrats this fall for a short-term spending deal. Moderate senators in both parties still hope to vote on a bipartisan agreement brokered to stabilize the insurance markets. And then there are Mr. Corker and Mr. Warner, two Southern senators who, largely by accident, have broken the partisan mold in Mr. Trump's Washington. As the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Mr. Corker was already one of the most powerful Republicans on Capitol Hill. During his 2 terms in Washington, the conservative lawmaker had earned a reputation for being willing to negotiate with Democrats. Then he decided not to seek re-election. In the weeks since, Mr. Corker has emerged as one of Mr. Trump's chief Republican critics, often joining Democrats in critiquing the president and his party's acquiescence. "I don't know why he lowers himself to such a low standard and debases our country," Mr. Corker said in one interview last month. In one tweet, the senator compared the White House to a daycare-minding and unqualified president. He also has warned that Mr. Trump is isolating the United States from its allies around the world. Mr. Trump replied in kind, referring to Mr. Corker as Little Bob in a string of counterpunches. Mr. Corker appears poised to make the most of his elevated platform and freedom from political considerations. On Tuesday, he joined with Democrats to hold a rare foreign relations hearing that focused on the president's authority over the United States nuclear weapons stock. The hearing raised questions about who should be allowed to wage nuclear war at a time that tensions with North Korea have dominated foreign policy. He has been one of the most aggressive Republican critics of Roy S.